Today was a pretty successful day. Um, uh, my second trade, which is this stock right here, it's it was a pretty good trade. As far as profits, but I made the same mistake again. As um, shorting it a bit too early, getting squeezed on, and having to fight a loser. And honestly, I don't. I don't like when I'm in that position. It just makes trading more difficult, but not only that, it makes me more undisciplined. Um, so I'll go into talking about it, but let me start off with the first stock that I traded. Um, this is Seed. Yesterday I traded Seed, and I'll show um, my entries and exits uh, from yesterday as well. So yesterday I shorted it. Uh, same thing happened. The same thing that happened today happened yesterday. Um, and I shorted it, and I got squeezed on, and it was a very annoying trade because I didn't like shorting and getting squeezed on. Like I said, there was two shorts, um, two entries I could have minus from from all of this, and it would have been a better trade. This one and this one, but yesterday I shorted it, and I got squeezed on. It would have been better if I shorted it near its highs. Then, as it's continued to squeeze on me, I either could cut the loss or wait for it to, or, which I would have been better just to cut the loss, wait for it to top out, and then add shares. Um, but as you can see, there's so many doji candlesticks that uh, I could tell it was going to come back down because I knew it was being sold into. Um, so eventually, I covered for a small profit um, of $50, 50 cents per share, $1,000, I think, and that was it for that day. But today, I took another short on it. This one was a better trade. Left a lot on the table, um, but I'm cool with it. Um, I'm cool with it. But as you can see, after hours, um, it was just like pushing up a little bit, but hanging over. You can see it's a liquid market open. It only had, or pre-market, it only had 50,000 shares trading. So I already knew, um, you know, Stephen Ducks has this thing where he multiplies the market open by like 10 or 20, I think. Let me do the math on it. And that tells you how much is going to be traded for the day. So overall today, it only traded um, 1.56 mil. So if you take 50K, 50,000 times 10, it should give you what it's going to trade for the day. But it ended up doing three times that. But Stephen Ducks has some kind of idea or some kind of math that he does that will tell him, give him close to a range of where, how many shares the stock is going to trade for the day based off of just pre-market. Um, so I took in my short here. Um, I took my short in here. Um, and I just added. I think I can't remember my entries and exits, but um, I shorted 500, then added. As soon as I shorted, uh, it dropped, so I added. Then I don't know why it says three, but three triangles, but three. Oh, I think I changed my order. So yeah, I added, I shorted, then I added it again, um, and then I changed my order and I kind of chased it a little bit because it dropped a good, I'll say, I think about 30 to 40 cents because it was at like um, 12 and $12.90 at one point. And then when I was trading it, I honestly didn't know where I should get out because it was hovering above. It was going in between red to green and green to red. Its last close was 12.70, and um, it was hovering above that area. Kept going in and out of that green to red zone and red to green zone. And I was judging between should I if this opens market if this opens during the market and it just starts squeezing out the gate, which I doubt it would, but what if? Um, was I gonna just where was I gonna cut? Because you always gotta know you still gotta know where you're gonna cut. So I was debating. I was like, okay, are you gonna cut red to green, previous close, which is of course red to green, um, or are you gonna cover pre-market high, or you know this range, which is right here, um, of this highest point here because it got resistance here as well after hours high. Um, and I was debating. Honestly, I didn't know and I didn't make up my mind. But when I calculated um, my risk was too high. I ended up doing a thousand share short, and pre-market high was about $600 loss. And honestly, I didn't like that. So I just waited because I'm like, it's only. And I looked at the volume. It's like less than less than less than 100,000 shares, but it can still squeeze. But I just took that risk, and I knew it was getting sold into because it had an offering yesterday. So I just um I just held on and I waited, and market opened. It just started tanking, and before market opened, um, it just had this big drop. So I was like, okay, I'm in for my money. I'm in for a run. But I'm like, what if this is just a nice panic here, and then and then like the company or the hedge fund that's manipulating this, the market makers that are manipulating this, what if they just start buying? But I'm like, I know they need at least more than 100,000 shares. They need more than that. You know, they need people to start picking this up. They should have pumped it up during pre-market if they were going to try to push it up even more. So, because trying to push it up during market open is even harder. And not only that, you let it drop. Um, you let it drop uh, um, pre-market by a lot just before market open. So that gave people signs, gave them an idea that okay, this could drop by a lot because you let it because the market makers they let it drop so much just before market open. So that's a sign right there. This is gonna just go down all day today and just fade. So market opened. Um, it had this big candlestick and this drop. Honestly, I was up $1 per share, and I was like, "Yo, I'm up $1,000 for the day in less than 20 minutes. In less than 20 minutes from when I entered this trade to when I exited. I got in at first at the minute of It says 9:10, but I don't think that's accurate. I got in at 9:12, and I got out by 9:33. So that's about 21 minutes or so, or 22 minutes or so. I don't know. Um, but I didn't think it was gonna continue to do this big fade. I personally just saw that it went down $1 per share. I'm cool with a dollar per share. I'm cool with the $1,000 gain. I got out. It continued to drop down. It went to my entry was at 1260. My average was at 1260 and went down to like 964. That could have been almost uh, that could have been almost a $3,000 gain for the day. Who knows? I know I wouldn't have waited that long, but um, I made my 1K for the day, one 20 1268, and I was happy with that, honestly. Like I said, like I do every time I trade, I focus on 1K for the day. I don't try to go for more. I don't try to go for less. Well, I wouldn't even say that. I try to go for more or less. Correction. I try to go for 1K a day. If I can get close to it, take it. If I don't, then I don't. Most of the time, I just still try to go for more. But uh, I honestly, I mainly let the stock tell me when to get out. And I hit 1K. The stock was like um, not trying to bounce, but it was like it was going up and down um, from it hit like 11:34 or 35, and then it started pushing up just a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna let my order sit here, and if it doesn't, it's gonna do like a pop up and possibly continue fading. So I just hit my order and it went through. But this point right here, I didn't let the stock tell me when to get out. I just tried to trade it as best as I could. Um, Not only that, but um, I was kind of upset that I missed this, but it's my fault that I missed all of this because, of course, one, I exited, but I had interference and I should have never answered the phone call. But um, someone called me. My mother and my brother called me to run errands, and I have a rule where from 9:30 to like 1, I don't answer phone calls. I don't respond to texts. I don't do nothing. No one can get in contact with me. When it's time to trade, it's time to trade. I'm super focused. Um, Not only that, um, I was upset with myself because I allowed them to distract me and I fed into their BS, and I shouldn't have. And even though I got out, I could have stayed in. I feel like them interfering with my day or my morning caused me to also get out, but it was mainly just me. So that was seed, excuse me, for today. Yesterday I made um 1K on seed. Today I made 1,200 on seed. I'm glad with that. Now my next trade, um, AELA. Honestly, when I was looking at AELA, there was nothing happening. There was nothing moving. There was nothing really going on. I couldn't find any stocks on my scanner to tell me, that there's something that's interesting for the day. Um, Honestly, like, wasn't even trying to trade. Once I got done trading uh, seed, I left the computer, ran that errand, went to go do stuff, and then I came back. And I wasn't even gonna look at the computer. I was just gonna be like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go study for my school. I'm gonna go study the psychology stuff and go exercise and all this stuff. But then I took a look, um, and I saw this stock, and as you can see, pre-market's not doing nothing. But I looked at the yearly chart first. I didn't see that, and I looked on Yahoo Finance, but the yearly chart showed me, okay, clear manipulation here, doji candlesticks here now that I'm seeing this. But not only that, they did an offering recently, and I doubt that it's still up. It's not up on my screen, but I'll show you. I like to show myself in the future. Um, I like to show my future self that, you know, here's the article, and to remind myself to constantly always look at the SEC filings disclosures prior to getting into any trade. Do your research first. So I saw that they had an offering here on May 27th, and had another one a month later at June 30th. So let's look at the May 27th one. Um, May 27th, then they had an offering here in this area. This got pushed up and they dumped. Then they got pushed up again. And June 30th, they had an offering as well. And then they dumped to here. So looking to today, they were up. I don't know what percentage they were up. I can't remember. But looking to today, they dumped here on June 30th. Okay. June 30th, they dumped here, pushed up, dumped a little here, pushed up again, and I already knew, okay, June 30th, they haven't, and then when I looked in their SEC filings and I looked at this one, saw that they were dumping shares, but then I also looked at their 8K, and they announced their 8K was, yeah, June 30th, so they're saying, oh, we're dumping shares. And not only that, okay, they have an end date where they, okay, so yeah, so maybe they dumped all their shares that day, but I'm not sure if they dumped it all that day and they were done with it. But um, I know that they, how do I clear this? I know that they don't have they're gonna dump shares no matter what, and even if they don't dump shares, people are gonna be selling. So, um, but I was under the impression that they were dumping shares. So I made the mistake of, and I didn't follow this rule, and I explained this in ticker symbol C, my trade yesterday, that when it's gearing towards middle of the day, that I need a short near high day, um, uh, which is here. And honestly, didn't. I kind of shorted near high day, but I was shorting in this consolidation area right here. And the thing is, if you're you need a at any time short near high day on a first green day, and and then you go your way with it. And if it doesn't continue to go down, you cover. But if you miss the big drop and um, you're like a decent amount off the higher day, you need to cover, or me, I need to cover if it breaks this consolidation area here. I need to cover if it breaks this area here. And I didn't, honestly. I added, Then it started squeezing up on me and got closer to a higher day here. And higher day here was 545, and it got to 525. So it was 20 cents from high day. That would have been a greater short if I just added all my shares here, risking off of 20 cents. But I added, and I was 4,000 shares in here short. Then it started squeezing on me. And I went from risking, I think, about a couple $100, I think. I can't remember my average, but I think my average was like $4 and like, I would say maybe 70 to 80 cents. And I'm 4,000 shares in, we'll call it 80, and I'm risking 45 cent per share. And I messed up here. And 0.45, let's say it's just 0.45. No matter what, if I even have to add more cents to this, it's still going to be beyond the amount. Or if I didn't. So 6,000. At first I had 4,000 shares. That's a $2,000 risk that I was risking, and I did not like that. Then I added here, and I had a $6,000 share, 6,000 shares, and I had my average was at, I think my average was at 93. So it was 493, 4.93, 6,000 times 4.93. No, I'm tripping. That's the amount of share. That's the amount of money I put in. But my risk was 34 cents from higher day when I did the math. I'm 6,000. So I was risking over $2,000 here when it was completely unnecessary. I didn't like the risk that I set for myself. And that was because I got in too early and I didn't cut losses. So I made two mistakes here. I got in too early, which is understandable. You see the consolidation, that's where you want to either get in or get out or whatever. And then it didn't go my way. I was wrong, temporarily wrong, because my not my prediction, but you know, I was debating. Okay, I'm risking the odds were telling me this was gonna come down. When I don't know, but the odds were telling me it's gonna come down. So right here, I put my money where my mouth is, and went with my odds, and I was wrong in the moment, but I was right overall. It was gonna come down. Um, so instead of covering here where I was supposed to at this line, um, instead of covering here where I was supposed to at this line, I let it myself go on a run. I was down at this point. I was down $2,000, but um, I was in at 93. But okay, so I did my math wrong. I was down $2,000 at this point, but from 4.93 minus 5.45, I'm really risking 52 cents per share. So 52 cents times 6,000. Now I'm risking $3,100, and I don't like that neither. But I did my math on this. I added here, and I did my math. I was in at 93 cent, and right here I'm risking 2,000. Right here I'm risking 3,000. No matter what, I still don't like this, and this could have easily been corrected if I just cut my loss here, reshorted as it continued to spike up, but I fail to do that every single time, and I did that with ticker symbol seed yesterday. Let's see. I did that with ticker symbol seed yesterday, and I didn't like that at all. Where I just let it ride or let it ride, and then it spiked. I added, it pushed up, but I saw it was getting weak, so it came back down. When it came down here, it wasn't enough for me to. I was up like $500. It wasn't enough for me. Then it pushed up some more. I added, but each time that I was stuck in this messed up position, I kept shares. I kept enough money in my account so that I can have on reserve to short some more if I needed to. One thing I've been getting better at is not going all in. And added here, and I just waited, and I was almost gonna cover when it pushed up here, but it pushed back down, and then it just dropped, and that's when I covered. But um, with here, um, I just fought it out, and I don't like to fight stops. You shouldn't try to fight stops like that. Um, so I added here, and I just waited, and then I saw this big drop here. I saw this big drop here, pulled back, it dropped, bounced. It was kind of like bouncing, consolidating. I was just giving it time. My average was at 93, so that's this line right here. So I was still down on my trade by a few $100s, and I was just giving it time, and it pulled back, and it went down to the lowest point of 75. But it's not that I wasn't satisfied. It was just like, okay, I know this can drop some more, and I changed my chart to the 5 minute chart so I can be more patient with it. Um, and when I changed it, and let me show you what I was looking at. Um, so as it was like consolidating, and it got to this point, when I saw the 5 minute chart, it was pretty much telling me, okay, um, it's still consolidating. It's still consolidating, and it still hasn't made its decision. So as you can see here and here, it's doing a flag pull. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, at some point it's gonna make a decision. It's either gonna push up all the way or push down all the way. So I set a stop limit. I set a alert to alert me at I think 580, and then I had it one at 565 or 560. 480 here. All at these lowest points right here of this triangle. So like 480, 460, and I think 455. And then I had an alert to let me know um, if it passed 510, which was like right here, or somewhere right here, 510, to alert me if it pushes past 510, because that's when I was just gonna look to see what it was doing, if it's creating another, continuing with their flagpole, or is it gonna push up? I didn't want to just get out if it hit 510, because 510 right here is not the actual risk. It's really high a day, but I'm willing to get out at this point just to prevent myself from losing so much. I was already risking way too much. Um, and then my alert went off. It hit 580. It hit under 580. I think I put it at 580, 579, just 1 cent under 580 to let me know it's breaking levels. And then I took a look at it, and I'm like, okay, let me give it some more time. Then my next alert went off, and my other alert went off, and I'm like, because I don't try to sit here and watch every single tick of every minute of every second. That's not healthy. So I knew it was consolidating, so I could walk away from the computer and give it some time. So I set my alerts, and I went to go take a quick lay down and take a break and kind of like think this through. Most traders would say that was not wise. Um, it helped me in this situation. So then it dropped, and um, I saw my account go from, it was like negative 2,000 here to break even here to 1,000 here to 3,000. It was like 3,600 at one point. And I'm just like looking at it, trying to figure out what it's telling me. Is it telling me that this is it? Because as you can see, a few days here, um, here when it pushed up, it dropped by a lot. So I'm thinking, is it gonna do one of these, or is it just gonna drop a little bit? So, I was trying to give it as much time as I could. And when I saw that, this was another panic. This was the first panic. This is considered to be the second panic, or even not, but it's dropping by a lot. I was like, you know what? Let me take my gains here. $3,400, $3,600 was perfect for me. I'm going out. I'm ending the day with almost a 5G gain. I'm cool with that. And it dropped some more, and I'm still cool with that. It dropped some more, and then it had this big bounce and dropped some more. Um, I'm glad I got out, and I'm really learning to get out on the first or second drop. I don't want to go through this roller coaster and try to make my money back and end up making. If I waited after this drop and let it go for a ride, and it pulled back, I would have made the same amount of money I would have made here that I made would have made here. So it's like I've been learning not to sit here and wait for another 2 hours or 2 hours and a half to make the same amount of money. So that's why I'm learning to get out early. I still need to watch more videos and DVDs about um, covering, exiting your trades, cutting losses. But I took my gains here. I saw the dollar amount, and not only that, um, I got out for a 50-cent gain. Stocks for stocks priced like these, under $10, he goes for 20 to 30 cents. And then if it goes into the $10 range or up, it goes for 50 cents to $1.50. I had to remind myself this is a lower price stock. Don't go for home runs. Don't go for home runs, but also, you want to aim to make 20, 40, 50 cents. And I have to remind myself because I'm so used to trading higher price stocks that I'm going for a dollar or two minimum. Um, but with these lower price, which I don't like trading, I should be going for smaller amounts. But that was all. That's it. I made a total of 47. I mean 400, 4,000. I made a total of $4,737. So I'm up 69K. I mean 6,900 for the day, for the week, and I'm really happy.